Hey everyone, this is the Nerd Boys Comic Book Podcast. I'm Marco, and with me today is Damon.
Hey you guys, I'm Damon. I draw indie comics and I tell jokes sometimes on stage, which is weird. It's whatever, but also I love comic books.
And don't worry, if you want to follow Damon, I'll have all those links in the description. But for right now, we're here to talk about like indie comics and stuff.
And yeah, like Image just turned 25, which is crazy because Image was started in 92. I was born in 92. It's very exciting. It's a very exciting time because then you get to think about that. That's the indie comics, like that's when it started. That was the boom, and Image was the big boy on campus. I've heard so many stories about them at conventions, like when they first started with like cars and just ladies, and like it was a complete. They're like at a Comic-Con in the 90s, just like, it's a party over here at Image Comics. Like,
so they had booth babes and stuff like that
at
a Comic-Con.
Yeah. Like, it's crazy, you know, like, and then there was a period of time where they weren't doing as well, and now they're like a mainstay of comics at this point, where it's just like you got stuff like Saga and other Brian K. Vaughan stories, and what is that comic called? I'm the worst. The one with the football and the South.
I have no
Southern
idea.
Bastards. I love Southern Bastards. If Jason Latour or Jason Aaron ever hear this, good. It's so good. It's wonderful. And I know people from the South, so they also think it's cool too. I told them about it. It was like, that sounds real. So it's South approved for some people. I know some people out there are probably like, this comic is booty, but ain't nobody got time for that.
I mean, if Charles was here, he'd say they put their foot in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. But it's funny because we were talking about making comics just now, and it's a fun process. Like I feel like on some level I should talk about like what that's like to make comics, because I feel like most people don't know. I feel like you hear a lot of people talk about like what they should be doing in comics as fans, and even and the funny part is, even comic book creators talk about that. You'd be surprised how many conversations you have with people where it's just like comic book creators, and we're talking about movies that just came out, and we're just like, oh yeah, they should have done this and they should have done that and this should have happened. Like we don't really know. I've never made like a real movie, like a big production, just like crappy short films that no one will ever see. So like, but I think it's very different when you're like a fan and you're looking at it, you're like, oh, they did this to get money, versus like you were really like made this decision. Like I hear that a lot. People are always talking about how they made this decision to get money or to make money, and it's like, you don't make money in comics. Like, that's not a thing. You don't. One of the you don't make money in comics. It's like you can make a living if you're lucky. You get to make as much as a teacher. That is like, that's right now. That's my goal as a person. So it's weird when people are just like, oh yeah, like they did this for money, and it's usually because people thought that was a good idea, and maybe you just realized it wasn't, you know, like you read it and was like, oh, that wasn't a good idea, but they thought it was. People have different tastes. Like some people think that Black Knight is a comic that we want to read.
Black Knight from Marvel?
Yeah.
I have not read that.
Exactly.
Okay. I mean, a lot of things I have like no interest in at Marvel, and like I kind of ignore a lot of like new stuff.
Yeah. Or like we were talking, I was just watching a video on Nightwing Rebirth, and I actually like know Tim Seeley. I'm gonna say no, we kind of friends.
Acquaintance or friends?
I want to say friends, but like it's also this weird thing where it's like I look up to you as a person, so like it's hard for me to be like to talk to him on a certain level, and then when I do talk to him, I'm trying really hard to be cool. Like, so
like Notice Me Senpai, or
yeah, very much like Notice Me Senpai. So like, but Tim was telling me that like that first issue of Nightwing took him literally 3 months. Like he kept rewriting that book, and I just think that's really funny that people don't even realize how much work. And that book is that first issue is so like straightforward and smooth. You wouldn't even know just reading it that like it took him that long to get it down, you know. And like we were just talking about earlier, I was talking about how like you get to a point in your creative process where you don't know if it's good anymore. And it's funny because people will talk about like, how didn't they know that this movie or this thing wasn't good? How did they miss that? And it just gets to you start off with an idea in the beginning and it's this like, oh, that's a clever line, you know, like you attach to that, and then you get like halfway through and you're like, wait, what the fuck is that? I don't know what that is. Who wrote this? Oh, I did. I'm a terrible human being. And you just trying to figure out like what it is and what you ended up with, because you have no idea if anybody will like your stuff. You just put it out into the world, telling people to read it, and you know, hoping that your friends or whoever like shares it online and somebody's like gravitates towards it. And it's a weird thing. It's weird to make something and to be attached to it and then to just give it to other people to like judge and pick apart.
Yeah, I know that feeling a little bit.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, it's YouTube though. Like YouTube is full of people who don't. Everybody feels like they get to share their opinion. I think that's another weird thing in comics right now. It's the climate of people, because the audience is expanding and the mainstream audience, I guess, is expanding, and there are people coming in. I think it's like there are all these people who want to be represented, like, and that makes sense. Like, representation is good. I think it's kind of weird that people we had this thing in the States, I feel like, where we like don't like the middle of anything. Everyone's very like, this is either bad or good, and it's just like, no, like, people want to be represented in comics. It's not that, like, it's not a big deal. Like, I just, you know, want to see some more black people or some more Latino people. Like, I don't know. Like, I grew up in Southside Chicago, a lot of Latinos and black people. That's what I'm used to. And so you read comics and you notice that, you know, you watch movies or you watch stuff and you notice that, like, none of these people, you don't relate to any of these people. You know, like, you don't relate to these people on that level. Like, they'll say something small, like, oh, yeah, you know, I was just borrowing some money from my mom, and you just like, that ain't some shit I can do. Like, I'm poor. Like, that's not how that works. Or just like, you know, people it's bizarre. And then also, like, a lot of like black media, at least for me personally, I feel like a lot of black media is like, it's not about nerds. Just recently they've been doing like stuff about black nerds who do stuff and make art and junk, and it's like, that's not that was when I was a kid. I was related more to like JD from Scrubs than I did to like
Turk.
Yeah, like even Turk. Well, Turk was kind of like, he was kind of cool, but like he was nerdy but he wasn't aware how nerdy he was, which I was always kind of funny about him. But like, yeah, I related more to JD. I, you know, spaced out and thought of weird ideas all the time, and it was just like, why don't they have black characters like that? You know, like. And I love what Bendis is doing with Miles Morales. Like, not just creating a character. It doesn't. And there are times, in people's defense who've gotten mad about it, there are times where you see them do that. They're like, we're gonna make a black character. We're gonna make this character color, and they just kind of are there. Then they sit in the background. Like, it was like, okay, we got it. We did it. You know.
Just check that box off.
Yeah, exactly. And it's definitely like a real. That's a real valid concern, you know, like, that's a real thing. But I think you got to read it first, you know, like, people got mad about Miles when it first came out. I remember I was super excited because I figured it out before they announced it, because I was like really into Childish Gambino at the time, and I was like, it'd be cool if this was Miles, and I drew this picture of Donald as Miles basically, and and then like literally the same day they like announced it, and I was like, yes, I'm so right. I love being right. The point is, like, but like I think like there are early parts of that book where Bendis just gets little thing right, and you can tell he said he's talked to his friends and stuff, and like there's a part where his dad is like old. His dad's older than him, and he was talking about when he was dating Kate Bishop in Ultimate Universe, and his dad goes, "Well, you at school macking on that girl." And he goes, macking, what is that? Like, and it's this little thing, but as a kid, I heard adults say macking literally all the time. Like, and it was like, yes, like that's That's what I'm talking about. Or the recent arc where he was talking about that girl, the YouTuber was all like, oh, he's a person of color. And he was just kind of like, I don't know if I feel comfortable with people just being excited because I'm black, you know, like, because even in comics, even in the industry and working on stuff, that it feels like, especially because you in indie comics has a lot of like artsy people in it. And it's very like, people do a lot of like self-referential, like, personal like comics about regular everyday life situations or people going through stuff. And if you love like superhero comics and manga like I do, people kind of look at your work like, oh, that's cute, you know, and it can be a little disheartening, and they really want you to. And I know that if I started doing comics about being black from the hood, that they would be like, oh, this is amazing. I've been waiting for this. You know, I'm excited to hear about your like opinions. But the weird thing about being black from the hood, being black from a neighborhood that's like heavy in crime and stuff like that, is all you want is escapist media. Like you don't wanna dwell on your place and where you are. Like as a kid, I just kind of like, I got into this stuff because it was cool, one, but also because going outside and being around other people my own age, everybody was doing something completely different, and they were into all this stuff I didn't understand, and they wanted to be, you know, they wanted to be around these cool older kids who was doing all this stuff that they shouldn't have been doing, and I kind of wanted to, you know, not do that. So I just got stuck in the house, you know, watching anime and cartoons and stuff. So I don't have anything to say about that. But I can tell my story through my weird comic about a vampire and a werewolf that love each other and is not Twilight.
Yeah. Well, real quick, do you want to talk about your comic?
Oh, I do a comic on Tapastic, and I posted on Tumblr too. It's called Hold Me Down. It's about Sarah and Kaz. Sarah's this Japanese werewolf girl, and then Kaz is this Turkish werewolf guy, vampire. And he leaves to deal with something because one day they get attacked at home. They've been living in Alaska for like 9 months or whatever, or for a while in a relationship, and then he leaves abruptly, and she doesn't know why. And in her like kind of depression about this thing, she decides to like go after him and figure out what's going on when she's given the opportunity by her ex-girlfriend who's a witch. So it's really just me trying to explore love stories a lot. Like I really love like crappy romance movies and stuff like that. And so it was kind of like, okay, I want to do it. The idea kind of sprung to me years ago when I was watching Twilight and thought it was terrible. And I was like, I really like the idea of this, but I don't like the way it's done. And I was like, can I do it better? And then one day I thought of a story and just wrote it down. I spent the whole night just writing it. And so it's also just like me experimenting and learning how to make comics and sell comics and stuff like that. Because the idea is very like, in it, the premise is a little cliche. And I personally don't have a problem with cliches as long as you understand. I feel like if you understand the cliche and where it comes from, then you can do little things to make that interesting. Yeah. Because cliche is really just something that it'll make us feel comfortable. It makes people like, oh, I know where this is going. It makes you feel safe. And in a way, it's me feeling safe, but it's also me trying to do little interesting things here and there, like having the main character be bisexual as opposed to like, what's the name? And learning how to handle that. How do I tell that story? How do I approach a character like that who is, one, a female, so she's different from me in that sense. She's a different race than me, and then she, you know, has different sexuality than I do. And that allows me to be like, oh, okay, like I have to research things. I have to look stuff up. I have to read about things. I have to come out to form these stories and like think about how they work. And yeah. So it's about them, and they go on a crazy action adventure journey, and also there's a lot of crying. So basically, it's like Steven Universe a little bit.
Yeah, definitely a little bit of the. I can see that. I can see that a lot.
Yeah, that needs to be some crying. I like crying. I like emotions. Oh man. So what have you been reading lately?
Mostly a lot of like the big two, DC and Marvel.
Yeah.
A lot of DC Rebirth, a lot of Marvel, but more just like the Bendis stuff. So it's
Yeah.
like Infamous Iron Man, Invincible Iron Man with Riri, Miles Morales Spider-Man, also some Dan Slott.
Yeah,
with, Clone Conspiracy, and like Champions.
Yeah.
Mark Waid. I like Champions. I don't care what anyone else says. Like it's a good story.
Yeah, Mark Waid's such a good writer. I like. Oh man, if you read, you gotta read Chris Samney and Mark Waid's Black Widow. Black Widow right now. If you want a Black Widow movie, if you are going for a Black Widow movie, go read that book. If you against a Black Widow movie because you don't think it's possible, check that book out. Like, put your ego aside just a little bit. I love you. Don't worry about it. And just like check that book out because it will make you think, okay, maybe this is possible. Like, it's pretty great. It's in the artist. It's so good. Jizz and Pants good. Like, it's so good. Let me suggest some like really good indie books that are out right now. You got Brian K. Vaughan on Saga. That book is fantastic. It's always good. Paper Girls is impressive. I like Brian K. Vaughan is generally impressive. He's one of my favorite writers. He does a lot of really cool stuff. Another book I read recently was a book called Saints. It's kind of this weird book about these kids who get powers from different saints, and then this like evangelical organization that's chasing after them because it has something to do with the end of the world. It's really cool, kind of bizarre. I think it's coming out of Image. I'm also gonna pimp Tim Seeley and Jim Terry's Sundowners. It's older, but I just picked it up and it's fantastic. It takes place in Chicago. It's about these people who have they've been diagnosed with several mental illnesses, and one is sundown disease or whatever, and so they go out as superheroes in the night, and the entire book is the question is, are these people dreaming these things or are they like literally happening? And you're just like, I don't know. The art is really good. Jim is always good. It's kind of scary. It's just a book about sad people and crazy superpowers and stuff. And what's another one? I don't know. We can talk about Scott Pilgrim is old. I love Scott Pilgrim. But Seconds, I don't know if anybody read Seconds.
I have no idea what that is.
Oh, Seconds is Brian Lee O'Malley's second. Not his second. It's actually like I think his third series, but it's what he did after Scott Pilgrim. It's a big book. It's really good. It's really cute. It's really fun, and really, it's also really deep and sad. So that's a good book. What's another one?
Animosity. Are you reading that?
I'm not. I've seen that though.
Yeah.
How is that?
I have no idea. Andrea has it, but she hasn't read it yet, so I don't know anything about it.
Oh, Descender. Descenders. I've read the first issue of that, and that started off really good. It's something about Jeff Lemire that his indie stuff is the best. I do not like him when he's taking other people's characters, though. What he's doing X-Men right now, I have no idea what that is.
So he's the one writing X-Men, like all new X-Men,
yeah,
like Extraordinary X-Men.
And and it's not that I think he's a bad writer. It's just like I'm always way more excited to see him do indie stuff. Like he did Sweet Tooth, and there was another book I can't remember right now. And Descender is really good. It's got Dustin Nguyen on it, and yeah, but like he did Green Arrow for a minute, and I don't know.
Wait. Rebirth or like New 52?
I think he was either last or second to last person to do New 52 run of Green Arrow. Who's doing Green Arrow now? I heard it was really good.
I have no idea. Like I don't pay attention to the credits as much as I should.
Yeah. Do that. It's good. It's a good way to know what books you want to check out, especially when they start announcing new books and you're like, is that a good idea? And you like, oh, well, it's that guy. I know it'll probably be worth checking out. Like anything Bendis. I'm such a like Bendis fanboy. It's so bad.
Same here, kind of. like I know big Marvel names, but it's like the DC ones. I'm like, okay, there's Grant Morrison. There's Tim Seeley as well, and a few other guys. And then Marvel, it's like, well, I know Bendis, I know Dan Slott, I know Mark Waid, Daredevil, and like that's about it.
Yeah, Chris Soule. Actually, I can't speak on Chris Soule. Dennis Hopeless is somebody I didn't give a chance at first, and he's actually pretty good. I was recently reading, I think he did Avengers Arena, because I was pretty unexcited about that book. And when
you mean that Battle Royale ripoff?
Yeah, I was like, no, like this is stupid. And then recently there was a really great sale, and I saw the book, so I picked up the first issue, and I was like, actually, this is not that bad, especially because Runaways characters were in it, and I was like, why won't they just bring the Runaways back? Why won't they do this? This is my personal dream. Like, I really want to bring that book back. Speaking of which, they just announced the casting for this show.
I think we should do that in like a second segment or like another video, just so I could have more videos throughout the week.
Right. Okay. Yeah. But I think also I'm trying to think if are there any other books that people just like don't even know about that are really great.
I mean, Curse Words that came out this month.
Yeah, Ryan Brown's Curse Words, that was great. It's weird. Ryan does some weird stories. He did that with Charles Soule, and he's a funny dude, and that book is like it's good. If you like funny stuff and weird stuff, it's definitely like wait a minute.
I like funny and weird, so
yeah. It's something you want to be a part of. Like it's just a really cool book. You know what book I love right now? It's not an indie book, but Spider-Woman.
Wait, which one? Jessica Drew, right?
Yeah, with the baby.
I totally missed that one, actually.
Yeah, right. No, I thought it was gonna be like I caught up with it. One tip for people who get lost behind issues or want to get into a book and it's like several issues in. If you can find the videos online for everything up until the current issue, that'll get you caught up, and then you can just pick up from where you left off.
Yeah, like Comics Explained, Comic Historian.
Yeah, those guys are great. I love Rob and Benny. They do like really great videos. So it's always fun to listen to them do stuff. And I like Benny like does the voices and like the
Does he do female voices too?
He doesn't really do voices with it. Like he'll do like he'll say what they say. Like
or he'll paraphrase what they say.
Yeah, he'll paraphrase what they say. And I always like that like Rob does it in such a way though where like you can skip that stuff if you want to just jump into the book where it is now, or you can go back and still read it and still experience that story just because of the way he explains it, which I think is really cool. Yeah.
I mean, I was listening to his Sam Wilson Cap, and I'm like, okay, I watched all 3 videos. I think I'm gonna get the next issue.
Yeah, right. Like, I gotta. That's a book. I gotta see about Thor, because the first Thor, when he switched it, and I love Jason Aaron's writing, and I love his writing on Thor before that, because I was not a huge Thor fan when I think Sienkiewicz was doing it or somebody, and I was like, yeah, like, and then I started reading like with God Bomb, and that was cool, and the art was Asai Ribic is a master. Like how do you gotta think about it. A book is 20 pages a month, right? It takes me, I draw pretty fast. It takes me like 2 or 3 hours to finish a page just drawing it. He does these like painted things in a month. He's amazing. The man he's doing things that shouldn't be possible, and they're great. Every time I see it, I'm like, this stuff it's almost cinematic and like exciting and emotional. And yeah, but when he started what's the name, it was one issue that like got me, and it was simply because of the logic behind it. Like he was Jane was fighting 2 of the Wrecking Crew members. Okay. The ones that like
I've seen this panel.
Yeah, they were married. And then she was just like, the girl was just like, because you a chick, I'm going to let you go. Because feminism and all that or whatever. And it bugged me because I was like, no, but she's a bad guy. That doesn't make sense. like Jane Foster is like feminism because she's a hero, obviously. Like she's gonna be like everyone's equal, everyone take care of each other, blah 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 blah. But like if you a bad person, like the girls that are like stealing stuff from people, like those are the girls that like break condoms and like like sleep with they friends boyfriends and stuff. Like they don't like they're like oh okay cool, like I'm gonna have your back because we both girls. Like no, like these are you talking about the girls in your family that you talk to about feminism and maybe you disagree, but everything's cool versus the girls that are like cut off dicks. Like like those girls are irrational. Like you know what I'm saying? Like so I thought that was a weird choice. Like I just thought it was, and it just kind of was like whatever. But it started off pretty good. I was curious. It wasn't really. I guess the thing that was bugging me the most was I felt like it wasn't really going into like her psychology as a character as much as I wanted it to, because I was like, one, you didn't know who she was in the first couple of issues, and then two, it was just like, man, like what is she even going through right now? She's got cancer. She's running around fighting people. I want to know what this person is thinking about on a regular basis, and I don't know. It wasn't at that point, and I feel like it maybe is doing it a lot more now. It was probably just to keep up the mystery of who it was, because they kind of knocked out Jane Foster pretty early in that issue.
Yeah, I think like issue 9, it's like, oh, it's Jane Foster, and then the world ended because of Secret Wars, and then they came back, and it was like, okay, now to reestablish everything again.
Yeah, I'm really curious about why Odinson is unworthy now.
Oh yeah, and Jason Aaron, he's been writing the whole thing, so I'm sure he knows. But
yeah.
Unless it's like something where it's like, oh no, don't worry about it. I'll never tell.
Yeah. It's just like, okay, let's move past that. But yeah, I'm curious what he's going to do, because he does a book called Southern Bastards, and that book is fantastic. We talked about that though. Yeah, I mentioned that. It's good though. It's one of those. He did another book too that's older. It's about this guy on an Indian reservation. He's a Native American guy. He's coming back to the reservation he grew up on, and he has to find out this crime. Like he's trying to do something, and he's just like this badass dude. He literally comes through with nunchucks, beating the crap out of people. First of all, awesome. It's called Scout. Dude, Scout is hardcore. Like. What? Like you just the whole time you just like what? Like just Kyle's mom the entire time. And so like it's just a dope book. I have yet to finish it. I'm like 2 or 3 volumes in, because I'm like right now I don't have comics money, which is really annoying. I mean I have an addiction, so any little change I get I use on comics, but like. Not to just like keep getting like volumes of a book, and I just want to like finish it. But it's good, grade A beef right there. Oh man, are you so yeah? I have no idea. I was gonna ask what are you excited about? Are you excited about Legion?
Legion, the show? Yeah, a little bit. Just because it's like Marvel and Fox kind of work together a little bit. I'm like, what's this gonna lead to?
Exactly. Hopefully something good. I'm kind of excited about it just because it's a character I really like. I've always been a big fan of the idea of David Heller. Like he's, Charles Xavier's son. He's insane. He has all these powers, but he can't control them. Like that's kind of exciting. But one thing that like it's weirding me out is how much is connected to the other universe. Because I kind of feel like DC gave themselves a lot of freedom with the shows. Not connecting them to the movie universe.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like they don't... Because Marvel is having issues with that now. And it's like, they can't... It's hard for them to... And they've done a few crossovers. Like, they had Sif on S.H.I.E.L.D. twice.
Yeah, and they had Absorbing Man. He was, like, referenced in Daredevil.
Yeah, but no big crossovers. Like, even between the Netflix shows and the ABC show, there are no big crossovers. And it's like... It also kind of makes the shows are like, okay, who can we use who isn't awesome enough to show up in the movie, but still pretty awesome? And then you kind of like, nobody? Like,
I mean, we have the new Avengers. We'll just call them the Defenders. Give them a Netflix show.
Yeah, exactly. Or like, Or like there's been rumors of a Kamala Khan show, which is like,
why a show though?
Yeah, exactly. Like I think that's cool, but at the same time, she won't be able to show up in the movies as easily if they do a show, you know. Or the same thing with the Inhumans. Now if they switch into a series, I wonder what that's gonna be like. But like, it in a certain way, they kind of like shot themselves in the foot because they were gonna do that like spinoff of Shield, Most Wanted.
Oh yeah, and that just tanked.
Yeah, no, because I don't really like Bobby and Hunter dynamic that much. Like, I like Bobby Morse. She was cool. Adrian Palicki's Bobby Morse was dope. Every time she came on the screen, I was like, she's about to be somebody ass. I'm excited about this.
Yeah.
Plus, you know, boobies. But what's her name was annoying to me.
Hunter?
Yeah.
Oh, jeez. I hated that guy.
Right? Like, and they were supposed to be married, and I just didn't.
And they played it off like, oh, they're leaving, so it's kind of sad. I'm like, it's not that sad.
Yeah, like,
good. Take out a few more characters. You have a really huge cast already.
Yeah, they had a huge cast. And I was like, yeah, no. So I was like, they can't sustain an Aeon show. That's not happening. Yeah. So I wasn't surprised it didn't happen. And I really want Fox to do an X-Men show, like a teen adult like X-Men show about them doing X-Men stuff, you know, yeah. Some version of that.
And I feel like the new X-Men show, the one with all the Sentinels,
yeah.
It's gonna be like disconnected but it's also connected. It's really weird. They're like, oh, it could be in the movie but maybe it's not.
Yeah.
But also there's Sentinels, so it's not part of the movies.
Yeah.
There's no Sentinels in the movies. And
no, the Sentinels show up in the Days of Future Past, but yeah, they?
Yeah, well, they're gonna be completely different than that, probably.
Yeah. Yeah, and yeah, I'm curious about that too. And I'm just like, how is that even gonna work? And they're just like, and you know they're gonna run into issues. You know it's gonna be like this weird, huge continuity thing that no one can get over. I've gotten to this point where I've just completely stopped giving a crap about the X-Men continuity and just accepted that none of it makes sense.
Every movie is a standalone. That's the best way to.
They're connected some kind of way. Who knows? Who cares? Like they're just like really. They just have really bad continuity, like comics do sometimes. It's just 90s. It's just the 90s in X-Men movies right now. That's just how I see
No, it's just the Ultimate Comics in X-Men movies.
Oh my god. This is the hugest mystery Ultimate Comics is the evil Spider-Man.
Wait, you gotta explain this to me real quick.
Okay, I'm gonna go into this. This is one of my favorite storylines that they did in Ultimate was Mark Millar's run. He did I think it was Ultimates 2. It was the arc with Ultimate Red Skull. I don't know if you read that.
No, I didn't read
Ultimates
2.
Okay, so the thing about Mark Millar is I know that, at least for me, in my personal opinion, he read Watchmen. And the first time you read Watchmen, there's this moment where you're like, but what? Like, huh? Like right afterwards? And I feel like that's the main thing he got from Watchmen. Like every single story I read from him is like that. I'm just like, why do you keep doing this to me? And like the ultimate Red Skull is Captain America's son.
Okay.
Yeah. So he goes insane at some point and just cuts his face off and starts murdering people, right? Because they like keep him. They like when he's after Cap is supposed to be dead. They like found out that he got some girl knocked up, and then like he's like, oh okay, like we're gonna keep this kid here and train him, and then they train him up until to make him the next Captain America, and then he was just like, nah, I ain't having that. Just murdered a bunch of people and was gone. Like. And at some point, they give you a death toll of like 400 people, like throughout the story. Like he's throwing babies out of windows.
Wait,
it's
so
crazy.
This is a son after or before the Super Soldier Serum?
This is after the Super Soldier Serum.
Oh, okay.
So he was like, Captain America was on leave. He was hanging out with his girlfriend, birds and bees. And then she had a baby, and then he went off and died.
Oh, air quotes.
Air quotes, obviously, because he, was in ice or whatever. So... that's the basic setup. Cap is trying to find out who this character. He doesn't know all of this, but he's trying to stop the Red Skull or whatever, right? There's a point in the story where they get help from somebody called Nerd Hawk, which is this weird copy of the Hulk, which has Bruce Banner's intelligence, thus making him a huge dick. So he's just like a big douchebag, and he beats up on people and wears a suit. So he's basically like Mr. Fix-It, except not as cool because he doesn't have a Jersey accent for no reason. And they also run into all these other weird little doppelgangers. And in this container is Spider-Man, but it's not Spider-Man. And they're just like, oh, who is that? Like, don't talk to him. The last person to talk to him killed themselves. And they leave you with that. I've never seen this addressed again. It is the most, like, I'm like, oh my God, please, what if story something? Give it to me. That is the weirdest thing I've ever heard. You got this, like, evil Spider-Man in a cage someplace. He's just like, it seemed like the whole idea of him was like, what if Peter Parker was a sociopath? Like, that's it. Put him inside of a wall. Like, put him inside this container. He's a sociopath. He's just as smart as Peter Parker is, except he's aware of it and doesn't care about your feelings or your life. That is like, I just want to know. But that's one of my favorite stories because it ends with them killing the Red Skull, defeating the Red Skull. He gets the Cosmic Cube or whatever, and they defeat him. But when you find out what Red Skull's goal is, at the end, it doesn't make you feel like they necessarily won it. And that is the weirdest part of the story. I'm not going to give it away. I'm not going to spoil it for people too much. But it's going to be like, wait a minute. But like if he won, wouldn't it? Wait. You know, it's just like, it doesn't work. It's kind of one of those things where you're just like, God damn it. Like, what is this? And that's one of my favorite stories. But yeah. What, we just went off into tangent. We were talking about something.
I know. Like that could have been its own thing. I might just take that one recording and just try to put some images to that.
Yeah. No, if you get the chance, read that story. If you find it someplace. I try to go to Chicago. Chicago Comics is a really great like graphic novel like half off section basically. It's just like a big, and it's like stuffed with books. You can find all kinds. Sometimes I've been picking up Wonder Woman in pieces. The Brian Azzarello and Cliff Chang run. Love that run. So good. Also, Brian's from Chicago. I haven't met him yet, though.
Wait, Brian Azzarello?
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw him at Challengers one time, but I didn't get an autograph.
Oh, yeah.
I was, like, going to bring the Killing Joke movie to him, but I was like, no.
Don't do that.
No, I'd probably throw the Blu-ray at me.
I just love it. I'm so mad at Paul Dini. Because he threw him under the bus. And we all saw it. I don't care what you say. Paul Dini has been trying to ship Bruce Wayne and Barbara Gordon since he got the right to make Batman. And Brian Azzarello gets the hit for it? Like, no, that wasn't cool. like, I love Paul for, like, what he's done in that story, but that wasn't cool at all.
Yeah, we should definitely do a commentary on that, maybe.
Right? Like, why did he just drop him like do? Everyone's like, Brian, why'd you write that? He's just like, you guys, why you bothering me? Like, no, that was him. That was this dude. He had not said anything. Like,
my fingerprints are all over this, but it wasn't me.
Right? Yeah, like
my name is on the
like nothing. And then they do it in the Curse of the not Curse of the Batwoman. They do it in Batwoman
Mystery or whatever.
Mystery of the Batwoman. And I was like, ugh. Like, every time she's just like, Bruce, why don't you talk to me? He's just like, cause
I'm Batman.
Yeah, right. Like, he's just like totally weird about it. He's just like,
you know what's funny? Lego Batman movie. They're gonna do the thing again.
I think really?
Yeah, because Barbara Gordon is the commissioner now.
Oh, okay.
And apparently, her and Bruce might be a thing.
That's so weird.
Or she's trying to get with like Bruce.
Like, it makes sense for her to be into him. Like, as a girl, as a younger person, like being like, oh, like, there's this older, handsome, strapping gentleman. He saves the world. How cool is that? Like, having a crush on him makes sense. Him doing something that isn't, no, weird. Just weird. It's not, it's like, why you, no, like, and then like, oh man, in Batman Beyond, before it was either, I think it was before New 52, no, it was in Batman Beyond 2.0, I think.
Yeah, something like that.
Which is the continuation.
It shows you what happened.
Yeah, and apparently they like had a baby and she had an abortion and it was.
No, she had a miscarriage.
What? Yeah, right? Like, why? Why did they do that? It's one of the things you're just like, no, don't do that. That's weird. It makes me uncomfortable.
This makes the whole Bat family look terrible.
Like, right? Yeah.
This is soap opera drama, but this is like bad kind.
Yeah. Like, I like when like Bruce is like dad to everybody. He's everyone's crazy dad that's just trying his best.
Yeah. Sometimes he's a crazy uncle, sometimes he's a crazy dad.
Yeah, it's funny. I think I've always really been annoyed by the whole like, oh, so Batman and Robin, so Batman must be fucking Robin, right? Like, who? Like, I get
Who
it.
thinks like that?
Everybody read Seduction of the Innocent, I guess. I don't know. But, like...
have you read it? I've never read it.
I know about it. Yeah, because, we nerds and we have to watch every single documentary about comics history.
I have one right there.
Yeah, like, it's weird because it makes one, I think it's, if the mannists want to use this as an argument, it's weird that, like, our first assumption when you think of a man taking care of a child is that his goals are sinister and sexual in some way. Like, no, like, he's just an adult male who saw a kid lose his family like him and thought, I have millions upon billions of dollars. Maybe I should just help this kid out. Wouldn't cost me nothing. And then he was like, oh, wait, I'm crazy. All I know how to do is Kung Fu. I'm just going to teach him Kung Fu.
That was the thought process. He was like, okay, I'm going to adopt you and I'll raise you to be, oh, wait, no, I don't know how to take care of kids.
Yeah, right? Like, it's basically...
But if Superman was like, oh, man, I got to take care of this Dick Grayson kid, like, he'd totally be a fine, functioning member of society.
Yeah, totally be. Like, I mean, Dick made it, other than the fact that he can't keep his name in his pants. But he's doing all right. He's doing all right. But he had to do all right after realizing Batman was not, like, the best role model. Yeah. Like, he's just, like, he's a good guy, but, like, he's not the best role model. Like, I don't want to be like him.
Yeah. This is a good, like, bad example. Like, I'll learn from your bad example.
Yeah, basically that's what happened. And, it's just weird to me. Speaking of which, I'm so excited for Super Sons.
Oh, I was going to mention that.
We've talked about this, and it's dope. I enjoy Damian Wayne is great, and now they have Jonathan, and it's like, this is what I'm about right now.
And I'm glad they postponed it just so we get more Jonathan stories before the whole Super Sons thing.
Yeah, and they, like, how they even get to the point where they ready to team up, because them bickering or just, like, being on a team together, it's the funniest shit ever.
Yeah.
I love it. I love that combination. I really hope they bring Jonathan into the DC movie animated universe. Like,
oh yeah, like in those little animated ones.
Yeah, especially because they do a lot with Damian Wayne, especially whenever they can get away with it. Like in the Teen Titans, like he was basically the leader of the Teen Titans in that one, which was weird. Like he is now. He's in the current books, but that's a pretty new thing, and it's like. They in the DC animated universe, they pretty much all Batman movies, even when they're not Batman movies.
Even Justice League Dark, it's a Batman movie.
So it was just like, like he's just like, oh, I can be Superman. So like seeing them like go against each other in the movies and like be little like people, that would be fantastic. Yeah. That would be really great. Even though I guess it'd be kind of hard for them to do it because in the movies it's basically still New 52 Superman.
Well, I mean, they could do the death of New 52 Superman. Bring in whatchamacallit.
Yeah,
and then it'll be fine.
Yeah, it'll be good.
I mean, all it takes is one movie, and then they can fix it.
Yeah,
unlike the DCU.
People get mad about the whole time travel thing a lot, but I like that. I like that we always had an option. Like as fans, we know that like, oh, this is bad. I don't like this, and then it's just like, okay, I just won't read it until they time travel. Like,
I won't read it until like the previous universe comes into the new one.
Barry, like, what are you doing? Like, just go back in time. It's fucked up. We can't do this anymore.
Barry's like, nah, I won't do that anymore. It's like, okay, Wally, can you come back?
You're like, Batman sucks right now. Need you to fix this. Oh man, yeah.
All right. Do you think we should end the podcast right here?
Yeah, let's do that.
Let's end this and then come back to it in a bit.
Yeah.
We'll see you guys next week. Peace.